Happy Thursday, everybody. Happy Thursday. If you're on here, get those likes up. What's going on, DOD? Good to see you as always. If you're on here, hit that like button. Tag anybody. Share this with someone that you think may find it interesting. I'm excited again about today's conversation. We are continuing the How to Be a Wife series. Many of you guys know that we started this a couple of weeks back in an effort to create an alternative space for women who don't want to do hot girl summer, who want an alternative message, to have a place to find it, to have a place to actually find resources and a tribe, a community of people who actually still believe in marriage, believe in God-fearing marriages, and quite frankly want to know how to have that. What does that look like? What does that mean? So I've had the opportunity to just talk to a few different women who are in different aspects of their journey and plan to do so. So again, if this interests you, if you think there's other young women out there who would find this of interest or who just, kind of want to have a community where they can talk about these kinds of things, be sure to share this video or just share my page in general. What's going on, Too Tall? What's going on? Good to have you. As always, guys, hit the like button. Also, if you would like to show support to the show, you can find me on Cash App or Venmo Sade. And as always, I will be sure to acknowledge all super chats. So I'm excited about today's topic. I have a lovely friend, special guest. She is such an amazing woman in so many different ways. And we're going to talk about finding balance in chaos. Married life and motherhood is a lot of times a lot different than it's presented online. And, you go through different waves, you go through different seasons. And although it's beautiful, there are times when things can be chaotic. There are moments when, you experience overwhelm. So I wanted to bring on somebody who I think has had a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge on how to navigate being a mother and a wife when life throws you so many different challenges, because quite frankly, that's what life is about. That's what marriage is about. It's not all the cute wedding stuff that we see online. There are different seasons and there are different challenging times. And an aspect of being successful is learning how to navigate those seasons. So again, what's going on, Bob Cosmic? I'm excited to have her on. And without further ado, I'm going to bring her on and we'll have our discussion. Hey. How's it going?
How's it going?
It's good. It's good. Yes, guys, please hit that like button. So again, thank you for coming on and hanging out with me today. I'm excited about today's discussion. And I think you have a lot to offer on the topic. So, again, what'd you say?
I said I wasn't sure. I was like, girl, I have not arrived in this area, but I've been watching life and
listen,
you have here. So
let me tell you this. There are a ton of people who make money off of being like novices. The amount of experts online who are coaching things that they have no experience on is like, I've lost track. So trust me when I say you're probably a lot more qualified than you think to talk about this subject. Okay, so just without further ado, would you just mind telling us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so I'm a wife of 14 years, almost 15 years actually next week, and I have 4 boys, 11, 9, 6, and 3. And I am literally living in a season of chaos. We are living in an RV, a destination RV. This is it. While we build our house, this is probably our 4th construction project. I said, babe, please tell me this is the last house. Nope. We're still jumping off the cliff and going into the next season. But supposedly this will be our final house. But every house is pretty taken like 3.5, 4 years because my husband is a builder. He builds everything with his own hands. And so for the most part, he's built it himself. And that's why it's taken so long. But it's definitely that is the season here. I'm learning how to do life in a very, simplified and like learning what the priorities are, figuring it out, and just going from season to season. It always changes. But anyway, so that's my situation right now. We only have about probably a month or 2 months left at the most before we move into the house, but crazy. Anyway, we also moved to Texas from California about 3.5 years ago, to just pursue the call of God in our life. So we didn't know what we were going to be planting here, but we just jumped off the cliff with God and didn't know what to expect. And God is just building the foundation of our community called Saints and Soldiers here in East Texas. And so it's been quite a ride.
Awesome. No, really, really. I mean, like I said, I've had a chance to know them for some years now, and very, very unique couple. Very, very unique story. You know, it's so funny that you talked about how, I mean, your husband literally is a builder, and a common talking point or complaint that I hear among women is like how, you know, men don't build, or how Black men in particular don't build. And it's funny because it's like here you are in a situation where your husband builds, and it's not all necessarily like dandy all the time. Like it's not fun all the time. Like getting with a man who literally builds stuff means that you're going to have a level of probably patience and a long suffering that comes with it. Cause like building things, it's a beautiful end result, but the process is chaotic. I would imagine. So, okay. So on to the next question. So you mentioned this earlier before, how you've lived much of your marriage under construction, like, you know, in and out of houses, you know, waiting for the next house or the next project that your husband was building to be completed. How has that been? How has that been actually literally being within that builds?
I don't even know where to start. I have learned, I mean, I know that it's always about the journey, and it's not about the destination. And even when you get to the destination that you've been patiently waiting for, you realize that that's not where the contentment lies. The contentment does not lie in the destination. It lies in only Christ alone. I'm going to talk about God because that's who I am. That I'm not going to front that. But I've had to learn, it's just been such a pruning process. And this whole life is a journey. Everything that we go through, every circumstance, every situation, every challenging relationship is all to draw, to mold our character, to mature us, to get us to depend on God, to grow into our identity. And so I have learned to be content in all things, no matter what it looks like. And I'm actually so grateful that I've traveled all over the world before I got married, so that in very harsh conditions, a lot of third world countries. So I was able to have a greater perspective on, what I have here. And so, when we were under major construction in our last house, and we had 2 little boys, 4 and 2, I was like, you know what? We're building character in our kids. This is literally missionary training right here. And I would remind them, I was like, some kids, I've been in areas where kids are eating out of the garbage dump. It's like, you guys have it good. You have no idea how good you have it. And I think it's so great because my kids are learning the hard work. They're learning what it takes, like, to inherit the promise. And they're not growing up in entitlement. They are not growing up with a silver fed spoon. But when they see them, they're gonna have something nice. They're gonna have something that they're proud of. But they're gonna see what it took to get there. They're gonna see the radical obedience to God. It's not covetousness that will lead you. It's not aspirations and career successes, all these things that drive us as humans. You have to put God first, and everything else gets into order. And so, like, I've just every family member, I mean, every child, and me and my husband, we have just grown in so many different ways through every single season of construction and every process, just learning to be flexible, to be content in all things, to find only our contentment in God, because nothing else will satisfy us. You have to, like, I am learning to live with very little. And I mean, it's on a lot of my pictures and my decor and everything, most of my clothes, it's all like, I haven't seen it in years. Honestly, it's almost, I feel like 8 years. I'm gonna have to throw some of this stuff away because probably outdated now, and going from construction process to construction process. But like when I read my Bible and I see how they were willing to live in abound. They were able to abound and able to live, on very simple things. Like their peace and contentment came from a greater entity, came from their creator. And so I can endure so much now, more than I ever was before. When I first got married, I am learned to let go of the things that bound us in this world, like just fear of finances and fear of what's going to happen next. And we it's just literally like our life could be a movie. But I will tell you, every single time it has been so exciting, because there's so many treasures, really like internal treasures, that I've been able to receive in the process, that I wouldn't have been able to inherit if I hadn't gone through all of these challenging seasons. And so yeah, I just, as I see like different parts of the house being put together, and I was like, sometimes I get emotional, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's really happening. Like this is happening. But and the other hand, sometimes I won't cry, because I'm like, you know what, this is not going to bring me the joy that like I am right where I'm supposed to be. And there are blessings for today. There are treasures for today. There are people that God is sending me to today to build relationship with, today to like to serve, to whatever. I need to slow down with my kids today. I just need to like get, forget all the distractions of like a big house to clean. It's like I have my kids right now in basically a one-room environment, and it's an opportunity for really to bond and to walk closer with them, because they're not lost in some room on a video game or something. So anyway, I'll just end it right there, because there's so much to say. But
that's fantastic. Perspective makes such a huge difference. It makes such a huge difference. I mean, what do they say? The half glass empty versus the half, glass full. And I mean, you even mentioned it at the beginning, how it's like now just by having the right perspective, you're able to endure maybe whether it's seasons of lack or seasons of discomfort so much more than you were, years ago, because you're understanding it's for a greater purpose, and that you can still be happy or content whether you have absolutely everything that you want and all of your creature comforts, or whether you're in between seasons or in transition.
I'll tell you, I don't want people to like, we see like, people are saying, okay, that's great. Like you have this person, but I don't know how to get there. And so I want to speak to that person, like that's not me. Like how am I going to get to where you're at that place of peace? Well, like, and let me just tell you, like there were times where I was, showering my babies in pitch black darkness, because we had to shut off electricity to in the middle of construction. Like we had to turn it off, and it had to be off for like a whole day. There are times where I'm like, we've had 1,000 flies in the house because we had to take off the old windows, put on the new window. And I'm spending a whole week swatting every single fly, at nighttime when they sit on the wall and they're basically kind of sleeping. I'm just like, getting all of it. There's so many things. I mean, we've had to like our makeshift kitchen in the hallway, and we had to, what did we make? Oh, we basically lived off of like a griddle, a toaster, and a refrigerator. And that was like that probably for 4 months. There, sometimes like right now, like we don't really have a lot of concrete around us, and it's constantly like mud. When it rains, and it's just mud all throughout the house. And so I get it, I've gone through a lot of, frustrations trying to keep everything in order, trying to keep the place decluttered. It's like you live in a small environment, but one thing, out of place, and makes the whole place, cluttered, and you can't think, or all the constant dirt and mud that comes in the house. And so I want you to know that it is not easy, and I'm not gonna lie and say it's just been so dandy all the time. It has been very challenging, very tough. Sometimes you can't get clarity. Like you want to have peace, and there's just like 6 people tripping over each other on a weekend, or and you can't like send them outside in the mud or the hot sun, because it's in Texas, so it's like 100 degrees right now. So it can be very rough. That's why it's like this really causes me to press it. It exposes things in me that I need to work out, things where I'm trying to control so much, and every time I try to control things, I am less and less I'm losing my peace. But when I learned to, really surrender control, that's when that peace comes in. And so that's how I get through it. I see the greater vision. I see the blessing. I see the things that the test that I'm going through, that how there's a blessing on the side of the challenge. So that's why I think it's just all about perspective, like Sade was saying, and mindset. But I just, yeah, I don't want to put a front that I don't struggle. I do struggle still to this day. But yeah, just it's all about looking at the cup half full versus half empty.
No, absolutely. So much wisdom, and you over here talking about I don't know what to say. I mean, yeah, like that's so facts. I mean, and that's life. I mean, and that's like life in general. I mean, we can have a perfect plan and how things are going to look, but we never know what we don't know. And it's interesting because yeah, when the house is done, I mean, I know your husband, like he's basically perfectionist, so I know it's going to be like beautiful. I know it's going to be fantastic, and a person not knowing the whole process may look at it and be like, "Oh man, you're so lucky." Oh man, and sometimes people can even get jealous when they look at the blessings that you have or the blessings that you have inherited that God has given you, and they can get jealous of that, not necessarily understanding the hard, rough season that it took to get to that point.
Yeah.
So, but that makes you ready in many ways. I think that makes your character ready to be able to sustain those kinds of blessings and still have a sense of self that is more connected to eternal things versus connected to like that house or connected to something that could be burned down or be taken away at any moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
I'll tell you that, our house might have been an idol before in a previous season, in a previous construction season. But we've gone through so much that it does not come before God. And so if God was to tell us to burn it all up and go to Africa, we would do it. It doesn't have hold on us anymore. It doesn't have a hold. And to much is given, much is required. Much is given, much is required. Sometimes we're envious of the blessing and the promise and the role they're playing in like their anointing, their influence, and we don't know what it took to get there. We don't know what the cost was that person paid
no,
to get there, and that is the truth. It's like we always want the shortcut, fast food process, and we really have to be willing to let God press things out of us. I feel like we've lost such a work ethic, such a there's such a in American society, there's a lot of entitlement, and we've all honestly lost a lot of work ethic, and I think, like, yeah, there's so much that goes behind what you see all around us, and God's just not going to like, he wants to give us good gifts. He wants to give us the desires of our heart, but nothing can come before though. Like, everything has to be in proper order. And once that happens, where nothing takes his place, that's when he loves to bless us. So yeah.
yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely, could not agree more. Um, okay, so I mean, no, you had a lot of interesting things about just the whole process of what it has meant to like live to spend much of your married life in or under construction and the different lessons that you've learned. Um, how, let me see, what would you say has been maybe the hardest and the most fulfilling aspect of like raising a family in between homes?
The most challenging, what did you say?
The most challenging and also the most fulfilling aspect of raising a family, raising boys in between homes.
In between homes. Gosh, the challenging thing. The most challenging thing would just, I think, order. Like, I feel like our life is just like, it's just hard to, like, when I think anybody would agree, when things are organized, you can think straight, you
Yes,
can like
yes,
go about your day, your month, you know how to plan. But we live such a blind walk with God, us personally, that sometimes we cannot project that far. We do have big vision, we do see to some extent, but on the practical side, we might not see that whole picture, what that looks like. And so, especially with all the unknowns since the pandemic, there's inflation and like not enough workers. There's so many other factors that are on. So you really just can't. I think that is hard to not be able to plan for your family, plan that way. Or like their clothes are just like, I try my best to keep everything organized upstairs, but it's like, this is such a small space. They have like a fraction of their clothes and it can be all over the place. Like, I think that is the most challenging, just to organize the way that I run my household, and everything's and that there's just not a lot of stability in the organization. And so, yeah, I'll just end that. But the biggest fulfillment is that I see the character that is being built in my boys. I see the way that they see me fall and make mistakes, or their dad makes it, and how we come together pursuing God first, like, being aware of, what is obstructing us, and then making right with God, and then and even coming to them asking for forgiveness if I had yelled because I was stressed out about the mud that was getting in the house, or trying to control them obeying me, and whatever it is. But it's like coming to them, and like I think them seeing the picture of just like what it looks like to follow Christ, as simple as I can put it, what it looks like to follow Christ, like no matter what, not letting this world bind us, and being willing to obey whatever God is asking us, to get up and go and do whatever he's asking. And it looks so different than what the church thinks it's supposed to look like. And so I love the character that's being built in my kids. I love that they respect their dad so much. They respect his hard work, his devotion to our family. Like, they're right alongside him, building the house with him. Or, they want to start, they're learning how to be men. They're learning how to be men. And that's what we desired when we moved to Texas, is like, we want to raise them to be men of God, men of integrity, men of strong work ethic and responsibility. And they're learning, they're developing their own relationship with God right now. That's just free of religion. It's just all on their own. And that's the most beautiful part.
No, that sounds very powerful. Very powerful. I've mentioned this to you before, where, many of my followers grew up in religious circles, or in, those kind of hyper controlling environments, and are like now still suffering the effects, some of them, and still trying to detox from that time. So I think it's super powerful when you can grow up or teach your kids how to understand and have a relationship with God, apart from all of the toxicity that religion adds, and really have it be a real authentic relationship that is powerful and fruitful and healthy and practical at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So also shout out to Too Tall with the 10 on the super chat. Appreciate you, Too Tall. Okay, so on to the next question.
Yeah, we talked about that.
What is that?
Talked about have another podcast, or I don't know what you call these podcasts, YouTube podcasts or whatever, but we did one on church hurt. How long ago was that?
It was a few months back. I'd have to find the exact date, but it was a few months back. Yeah.
So if you guys want to dive into that deeper, it was a really good one.
It's a good one. Absolutely. Okay, so how are you able? This is more of a practical question. How are you able to keep clear and healthy boundaries in a small place with 6 people?
Oh, that's a good. The boundaries are more we've had to learn with people, because the way we do life before we got here to Texas was like anybody could come over 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We were like the emergency church, house church, whatever. Our life, we just gave everything to everybody. And now we're like, and now there's so many people that just are all the workers and like people in our community that just want to stop in and pop in, and they just like, there's already so much that we're managing right now. We're not only building our, but we're building a friend's house also right now from California. And so there's just like, there's literally so many pieces like flying all around us, and we're just trying to like prioritize. And so when people come and just don't like, they just show up like, and they expect us to like do, you know, do how we normally do, just drop everything, bring them into the living room, like come have dinner with us, or let's pray, whatever it is. You know, we had to, I think that's hard for me because I love that part. I love that spirit in us and our family, the way we do that, and just seeing how God moves through those interactions. But I'm seeing our limits right now, and that this is not the season for that. Like, this is a season where we need to get filled up ourselves, because if we are not filled up, not pour out to anybody else, we cannot get the house done. This house has been delayed so many times, and we will not get in that, and we cannot properly, you know, really serve people that we want to, like how we want to serve. So I think it's just setting those boundaries, saying like, hey, even dad, you can't just pop it. You got to text before you come, because it just interrupts our brain flow and all these things that are happening. And there's just not enough time in the day. So, and it's hard for people because they feel sometimes rejected, because they're like, you know, they're used to us relating to them a certain way. And now we're all withdrawn and we're not accessible, and they're not, you know, but it's like, we have to this is a season where God, put your family first. You need to put your family first. You need to get your household in order. But in terms of, so I think that's the external boundaries that we're really learning.
Yeah.
And, you know, being really good about articulating that, not in an emotional way, but just being very clear with people. And sometimes people don't like it, but it's, you know, family members and different things. But it's like, I've learned to be okay with that. Like, I need to be healthy myself. So anyway, okay. Yep. Yeah. So, yeah. And plus I don't want our kids to feel like they're always like last, like everybody else comes before them, you know? And so in terms of the boundaries in the house, that I think is my greatest frustration. That is my greatest frustration, because I'm like, yeah, I think Jabbar also, my husband, he's like, I'm on a business call. Like, he's starting, I need you guys to be quiet. And we're like, you know, go. So I think I don't know. We're still trying to figure that out. We're basically all in one room, still together. So sometimes we'll just send them all outside. I'm like, I don't care. Just go get dirty. I'll just, you know, shower you when you get back, you know?
Yeah.
Water.
I mean, there's probably
like,
only so many boundaries you can have in an RV with like 6 people, and with like boys, young boys at that. So it's like, I mean, you probably have to be kind to yourself, because
you gotta
that's
have
hard.
Yeah. And like, we put so many expectations on ourselves. Like, it has to be a certain. I remember when like, oh my gosh, like no dirt on their face. They had like got dirt on their clothes, like change it, like can't go outside with socks on. You know, I'm just, you know, and now I'm like, whatever, go walk outside in the dirt in your socks, like whatever, I'll just throw them out after. Like, it's not
You're like, I just need my space.
Stressing out. It's like, it doesn't need to be perfect. Like, I don't live in the suburbs anymore. I live in the country. It just is what it is. And I'm not going to exhaust myself trying to keep up with the Joneses and whatever my expectations used to be. So
changing expectations probably is a part of establishing those boundaries. Because to your point, like, you're not living like in the Bay Area anymore, or you said to the suburbs, or, you know, any of those places where it's like, it's just a completely different way of life. You're in like rural East Texas, where you can go to the gas station and get peach cobbler, that, by the way, is amazing. But, you know, like,
exactly.
That's not happening in California. You're not going to Chevron and finding like some homemade berry and peach cobbler and deviled eggs, which I will never forget. That stuff was so good. I went.
That reminds me though, like at the farm when we were living in the Bay Area. Now, it was still like a farm, it's still country, but it was in California. And Godiva came over, April. She came over to come visit. She had her high heels on, very expensive heels, I guess. And she was like, oh yeah, let's go see your house, your construction project. And she walked through, she said the day, she's like, my shoes are ruined forever. She said her shoes were like, I'm like, oh yeah, girl, you know, we live in the country. Like, She's like, I had to throw them out after she left her. I felt so bad. I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, we're having a gathering this Sunday, by the way, on our construction site. The house, it's literally just like, we still have to paint it. The appliances are, I mean, it's just no AC right now. Anyway, it's supposed to rain. So I got to warn everybody, like, prepare, wear your rain boots, wear
Wait,
your
y'all are having a gathering outside with no AC?
No, it's going to be in the house. It's going to be in the 80s. It'll be in the
Okay.
80s.
Okay.
It'll be in the house. It's just mud all around our house right now. Like, I mean, when it rains, it's mud. So I have to remind everybody, like, wear your rain because you'll be slopped up in the mud. So that's how we do. But that's, yeah. Anyway, tangent.
Yeah. Okay. She's asking where in the Bay did you leave from?
Oh, I was in Livermore. Yeah, we were in
the Tri-Valley. I think that's considered like the Tri-Valley area, or East Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What advice do you have for busy moms who are overwhelmed?
The only thing is that is going to bring peace is Jesus. I'm not trying to be no Christian. I'm not trying to speak Christianese. I am not trying to like be hope. You have to take a step back and breathe and assess yourself where you're at. Like, you have to literally like give yourself a timeout. Like, just like we give our kids a timeout, we need to give our timeout and go outside, get some fresh air, even when chaos is happening all around you, even when, like there's a poopy diaper, somebody hit somebody's crying that they're hungry. Like, you just like I get so overwhelmed when that stuff happens. And I feel like I'm fighting fires nonstop instead of like, when sometimes my husband will make me be like, okay, sit, just let all the balls drop. It's okay. And I'm like, no. I'm like, so we're like, this needs to get done. No, you don't understand. He's starting, or he just got hurt or whatever. And I feel like it's like the top emergency. And I can't drop the ball, but he will force me to drop the balls, sit down right now, take a breath, let's reassess what's happening. And then he'll just speak wisdom to me, or we'll pray, or I'll just like, take a deep breath. And then I'm able to come back and address the situation with assertiveness and clarity and wisdom. And it's just not like I'm fighting fires. So, I think it's to be expected that us moms, we're gonna live like this. It's just a part of, God designed it that way to like frustrate us and like work things out of us. So we have to depend on him. And when I am anchored to God and say like, okay, God, you got my children, you have my finances, you have my living situation. Like, what I have to acknowledge you in all my ways, and you're going to set my path straight today. And he does, and he corrects me where I'm off. He corrects my perspective. He shows me a better way. He takes things off of my to-do list that I thought were super important that needed to get done. And he's like, no, you don't got to worry about it. He shows time. So, yeah, it's like the Holy Spirit is the only thing that's going to guide us through those practical things throughout the day, to let us know where we need a detour, where we need to take a left, take a right, remove things, add things, delegate, ask for help. And so it really has to be a close relation with God, because we cannot do it on our own. It's an illusion that we can control everything around us. We could literally send our kids off to school and the bus could get into a car accident. We have no, we need to seek the Holy Spirit in all things.
And could you expound upon when you say Holy Spirit, what do you mean? Not everybody's familiar with that. How would you describe that?
The Holy Spirit is the God that ministers to us. He's the teacher, comforter. That's how the Bible describes it. He's a dimension of God. He's one with God, and he's a dimension of God, and he has specific purpose that is the God that lives inside us, who are believers. That is the one that ministers to us when we need help.
Okay. Guys, if you're on here, hit that like button. Hit the like button, show support to the show. As always, you can find me on Caperville, Shay Charday. Okay, so on to the next question. How can moms of multiple kids make time for themselves and their health?
That's a good one. It's so God designed our bodies a certain way, and He's designed food and nutrients and minerals and the things that we eat of the land to nourish our body, be optimized to work at its capacity. Um, every you look at the benefits of each fruit and vegetable on this earth, and it's incredible what all the extensive benefits that it gives us. And so we have to make that a priority, or else we won't be able to thrive in every other area. So I think that's really, after our spiritual stuff is in order, I feel like that's the next foundation that needs to be put in order, because if we're not taking care of ourselves, then we can't take care of other people. It's just like, when you're in the airplane and they show you got to take, when the mask comes down, we're in an emergency, you have to put it on yourself first before you put on your child. And it's so true. We can't help our children or be the best wife to our husband that he needs us to be until we're right spiritually and physically. We're healthy. We have mental clarity. We have energy and focus, and so a lot of us just run ourselves into the ground, just being martyrs for our family, but it's really taking away from our family. And honestly, our kids need to see that we are worthy of self-care. We are worthy to have that alone time and go out with our friends and enjoy life. Like, they need to see, like, we're not slaves to you. Like, we're like, we're sacrificing, we sacrifice all this for you, but then for me to be run under the bus, like, that is just not, it's not because then they're going to grow up and feel like that they need to do the same thing, but they're worthy, they're valuable, and they're important, and they're loved. And so I have to do that. Like, I need to be like, hey, look, like, I need this time right now. I'm going out with my friend. Like, you don't understand why I'm working out. Well, I need it for me. I need it for my mental health. I need it for this. And that is, I think they don't understand it sometimes. Like, oh, you're still, like, you're doing, what about, but it's going to model something for them, to, uh, it's going to model something, because if we're not healthy, our health is our wealth. That's, like, I hear that quote a lot. Um, you don't want to spend, like, what is it called? You can invest now in your health, or you can spend so many years on the back end of your life, like paying all these medical bills, trying to treat different things. And we just, like, want to steward what we've been given well, so we can be the best friend, the best mother, the best daughter, the best wife. And so I just feel that's really important. And it's really hard, but I think we sometimes just find the time to meal prep, find the time to work out. I hear a lot of this because I'm also a health and wellness accountability coach. But if we don't do that, like, we're not going to be able to succeed in other areas as well. And so I just, like, get up earlier, do what you got to do. Like, if you, when the battle is in the plan, the plan prep, when you prepare a plan, then it becomes easier. So there is a way. I would just encourage people to, like, seek after accountability coaches, or seek after, meal prep tips and different things, because it'll actually help you to save time throughout the week when you're busy. Just take one, like, day, like 4 hours on a Sunday, batch all your chicken, batch all your your protein or your veggies or whatever, and start throwing it in different recipes throughout the week, just to make your life easier. So yeah, I'll just end there. There's always so much to say, but
Yeah, I know. That was good practical advice. It's not uncommon. I've heard that be like a common complaint of, especially when moms are like deep in child rearing years, where sometimes they can feel a little bit guilty of like taking that time away for themselves, or wondering if they're being like a bad mom or selfish. So, I love how you kind of made that example of like, if you make sure you're taking care of yourself and you are still maintaining who you are, then you're going to actually be a better wife and a better mom and a better friend and all of that. And so,
okay, so, like, AP was asking about options for energizing food snacks on the go. Okay, so I do these protein balls, and I'll put, like, peanut butter, almond butter, oatmeal, and maybe, like, some dark chocolate, some coconut shavings, and then, like, peanut butter powder, so it has less fat but, like, lots of protein. or protein powder, depending on like what kind, so it tastes good. And mix it all up, and then you refrigerate it. You make it in balls, and I love this when I'm just like, oh my gosh, I need something really fast, but it has to be nutritious. You could add chia seeds to it, flax seeds, like all the healthy things like that is so energetic. But if you can't, it honestly only takes 10 minutes to make that, and you make it in a ball. You can swap out lots of ingredients, put it in the fridge. And you just take whatever, I mean, I'm portion control with everything. So I'll probably have 2 of those a day. But sometimes when I don't have time to make it, what I should is only 10 minutes. I'll go to Sam's Club or Costco and have those squares, those organic squares they're called. And it has all organic seeds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, like chia seed, everything, and dark chocolate chips in it. And I'll use that also. And it really, really helps. My kids love it too. So
I make this time what you're talking about. Yeah, those little energy balls that are pretty easy to make, but like great go-tos, especially when you're on the go. So, okay, so we're getting down to some final questions here. How do you know when you're getting off balance? Like, do you have like indications, little things to be like, okay, I need to reset?
Yeah, I think when I'm trying to control too much, when I'm losing my peace, when I'm losing my peace and I'm getting really frustrated, that means that I'm losing control. I feel like I'm losing control of the situation. So if I'm having that familiar feeling again, and I'm frustrated at my kids because they're not doing something I want them to do, or they're not keeping the house clean like I want them to, I know that I'm out of balance, where I haven't spent time with God. I don't have my spiritual order, my mindset right. I'm just rushing through the day, trying to tackle all my tasks, but I've left God way behind. So, yeah. When I operate in my fears, my anxieties, my what ifs, this person, like I'm just meditating all day. Like, oh no, this happened. What's going to happen next? Are these people screwing me over or whatever? What is this person saying about me or whatever? Then it's like, I know, like I'm so consumed. Like if you think about your thoughts throughout the day, it's so crazy. Like I remember my husband was like, so just really take note about like what the percentage your thoughts go to different categories that have nothing to do with God. And I was like, oh.
Uh-oh, looks like she cut out. I know she's in a bit of a she's in East Texas, y'all. So internet there, depending upon where you go, is not necessarily the strongest. So we'll see if she joins us. But let me read through these super chats real quick. I'm going to get in my Bible and talk to God. Yeah, that is facts. That is facts about like little indications of knowing when you are off balance, or understanding when it's like, okay, I need to reset and make sure I am dealing with myself so that I don't end up bringing whatever issues to my husband, to my home, to my family. So that is so facts. I mean, I am a big supporter of like a just daily quiet time of meditation, prayer, your point, getting in the Bible, getting in the word, or listening to some music. Like you just have got to have that time to reset, and then exercise. Like those are 2 things that I try to never, ever go without. Even if I have to do it short, even if it's like, okay, today's only a 30-minute workout, or today I'm only going to be 30 minutes meditating. But like those for me are like key things that keep me balanced, because I'm like, it can be so easy to get off track. And even with that, I mean, things happen that you can't control. Things happen that may kind of, make you a little stressed. But I think just having those times to reset and to remind yourself, okay, I'm worth the investment. I'm worth the physical investment. I am worth the emotional or mental investment, makes a huge difference long term. Yeah, I say women need to reset so they don't cause confusion among their significant other. Could not agree more. I even remember growing up, it's kind of a running joke. I remember growing up, like, my mom would go days without having her quiet time. We'd be like, Mom, like, have you prayed? Like, we used to say that. So it was somewhat of an example that I saw my mom set for me. And it got to the point where I recognized, was like, you need to go spend time with God. Or versus when it's like, okay, she's gotten her fill. So even kids can kind of pick up on that when it's like you're stressed, you're running on E, you're overwhelmed, you are just not in touch with yourself versus when you are, you know, still maintaining self-care. Even kids can catch up on that stuff. So I'm gonna see. I said I know she's in East Texas, and East Texas is not known to have the best internet. No shade to any of y'all who might be from there. Uh, but okay, let's think she's joining us again.
Sorry.
Hey.
My
Wait, okay, you're cutting out a bit. I know you, like I was telling you're in East Texas, so it's like I have to try to temper expectations. Being in like the woods.
Yeah, no, my phone because
Okay, I see your mouth moving, but I don't hear your words. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see. Can I hear you?
Can you hear me?
Okay, I think I can hear you now. Okay, well we're getting down. I mean, I'm gonna have another question or two, then we'd be good because I know you are a busy woman with quite a lot on your plate. But you know, you made some good points about just recognizing when you get off balance and when it's like you need to sit down and be like, okay, I need to reset. I was explaining to the audience, like I can remember as a kid literally noticing the difference between when my mom was having her quiet time or times of meditation and when she didn't. To the point where we'll be like, Mom, like, have you read today? Like, have you prayed? Like, so kids can even pick up on that kind of stuff. Okay. So, what expectations have you had to adjust over your like 14? I think you said 14. Is it 14, 15 years?
Almost 15 years.
15 years. So, what expectations have you had to adjust over time? Like I said, all the different seasons that you've been through between construction, in and out of homes. Eventually, like what expectations did you have that you've seen you've had to essentially let go or change in order to maintain peace?
Just definitely timeline. What did you hear me?
You were cutting out. I don't know if that was me or you, but no, I was seeing your mouth move, but that was it.
That's interesting. Okay. I said timelines of the house. People are just like, when it's done, I'll give them a month, and they're like, yeah, right. They're like, I'm sure it's gonna be like 5 months after that, or maybe next year. And it's so funny because we're so used to it that it just doesn't go. So if I put expectations on when I'm gonna be in that house, I will just always be unhappy because I just whatever my expectations or in terms of like if I go somewhere or something's gonna happen. And just satisfied and discontented. But like when I let go of those expectations, I feel so free. I feel like peace, and I'm like, whatever. Like I am where I'm supposed to be, and it'll happen when it's supposed to happen. Like, why am I putting that timeline on myself? God heard. So yeah, I for sure it's.
Okay, timelines. You kind of cut out a bit, but I think I basically heard timelines and adjusting expectations so that you don't get super frustrated or super upset when things don't go based upon the original, the original plan. I know that's been a big thing for you guys in the home, especially.
Yeah.
So
let me see. Maybe I should turn off the AC. That helps. But like that's when the phone overheated, and I had to literally put it in the freezer so it would wake back up.
Yeah, I'm saying there's some technical difficulties with the audio. Yeah.
Okay, let's see if that
helps. Okay, no worries. Well, we're getting down. So, good things about big expectations you've had to adjust timelines and being okay if the timelines extend way beyond the original, plan.
Yeah. What?
Right.
Expectations of cleanliness too. Like it's like my husband. I was like, oh my gosh! If I said him yesterday, I'm like, people are coming over right now, and if they saw this, they would think we're hoarders. And he's like, he was like, I think we're doing a lot better than most people would in that situation. I'm just like, okay, I just don't give myself a lot of credit sometimes.
I mean, anybody who has an expectation that they're going to walk in a RV with 6 people and it be spotless probably has other issues going on. Like, so, like, okay. So, how has your health journey benefited your family?
Oh my gosh. I'm 39. I feel like I'm in my 20s still. I have so much energy for the kids. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I can accomplish so much. I can do so much. I can even help with construction. Be like, hey, I can pick up equipment or bring ladders around, whatever I need to do. My husband, I just lifted like a huge, like water heater or electrical box or something. We lifted it super, it was like so heavy and I was able to do that. So,
Okay.
yeah, I think it's benefited. I feel like it also has helped me fight postpartum depression.
Mm.
Especially after my first, and I just doing something for me and having that self-care time and working towards something for myself that I could be proud of and see the results of my hard work, and like just having that me time when I just felt lost being a mom and didn't have direction, like where we were going and what the day was going to look like. Um, and just to have that for me, I felt like I was able to come back into mommyhood and just be more full of joy and just ready for the day. Just ready for the day.
That's awesome. That's awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, it's quite an inspiration to see, all the different things that you're doing with the different moms and people who are in, just some different journeys of womanhood in general, and how when they make health a priority, whether it's, 20 minutes a day, even sometimes, but just making
Mhm.
that consistent investment, how that really does help, not just you physically, but there's a mental component that happens too when you feel like I'm investing in myself, I'm investing in my health.
Mhm. And I do have and 30, most of our programs are actually 20 and 30 minutes, which is crazy. Because I used to be like a super prideful gym rat. And once I like went all in with these programs, since I'm a beach body coach, I'm like, oh my goodness, like get so many results just 20, 30 minutes. And this is great for moms who are just always have the excuse that they can't go to the gym or don't have time. You literally wake up, put it on your TV and just start going. You're 20 minutes, you're done. 30 minutes, you're done, and you're getting results. So it's
Yeah, it's
yeah.
even better that you get results. It's not just like,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. It's really important. It's part of
Awesome.
wellness. As moms, we need that mental wellness for sure because it is crazy. Like yeah, I'm so proud of us moms getting this far. Like I was like staying in St. Louis at a coach summit, and all these women were in my Airbnb over 50, and they were at college kids, like having so much fun, no care in the world. Like, let's just dance and let's do. And I'm like, oh my gosh, now I'm like, make over 50 look so fun. Like, you guys are so. Oh yeah, they're like yeah, our kids are out of the house. Like, we go on trips every weekend, and I'm like, wow. I'm like, I can be 50. It's like, yeah, I can do this. Like, I have no obligation anymore, and just even more, flexible. Yeah,
That's
really.
awesome. That's so awesome.
One of our little ones is coming in the house.
Okay. Well, I get. Well, I was literally about to ask you, anyways, if you wanted to wrap up. Which one is it?
Oh, this is just
Oh, hey.
a bunch of people can see you right now crying. Can you see that? A
Hi.
lot of people. Did something happen? Need some water? Do you want some candy? Some candy. Sometimes you just gotta, you just gotta do that stuff sometimes. What is
Well, I think this is a great time to wrap up. It sounds like duty's calling.
Okay, yeah, no, thank you so much for having me on. It's always fun chatting with you, and you always have really good questions. And I know that it's hopefully it was helpful to people. Let us know. I mean, we'd love to like share more if you guys have more questions about other things that we've been discussing or talk about, or things that you would like me to come back on and dive into deeper. Definitely, I'd be open to doing that.
Yeah, no, this is awesome. This was awesome. Like I said, I'm testing this out, but if all goes well and I get enough interest, I'll definitely want to keep this as a ongoing season series, just for different women to come at the very least and use it as a resource. So stay tuned for that. I see Candy solves 99% of problems.
Yeah, it's not,
That's funny.
not too bad, but
Well, this was fun. This was fun. Thank you again for hanging out. Guys, be sure to check her out. You can find her on Instagram and TikTok, right? Actually, I'm gonna put this stuff
no,
in
no,
the description.
I haven't developed the TikTok. I'll send them there.
Okay, you can find her on Instagram. She is also a beach body coach and a fitness instructor, and definitely has a heart for busy moms who are trying to find ways to get back on their health journey, and just need a little bit of support to do so. So be sure to check her out on Instagram. And thanks for hanging out.
Thank you. I love you. I'll
Love
talk
you too. Okay. Okay, guys, so that was fun. As always, good friend of mine. Like I said, I think it's always so good to hear people who are in the journey, in the process, whether they feel like they've arrived or are still arriving. It can be rough out there for moms. It can be rough out there for moms who are raising kids, working moms, busy moms, or just wives, just trying to navigate the ins and outs of life and all of the different seasons that marriage brings you through. So, I'm always excited when I can sit down and talk to different women who have navigated through some of those seasons and are making wins. So again, thank you guys for hanging out with me. Again, if you found this helpful, useful, or interesting, be sure to tag it, share it with somebody, and pass the information along. And also be sure to stay tuned for upcoming content. As always, I will be having other interviews, other related topics, and just other fun topics in general coming up over the next few days. So be sure to hit the notification button already so you can be notified when I go live, when I drop videos. And yeah, I think that's all I got for today. So we'll talk later, guys. Bye.